Okay, so for the fourth and final case study, I actually want to pull up a longer term swing trade that I took towards the end of 2022. And it's actually one of the trades I'm definitely most proud of and was one of the first calls I made for the server. Okay, and here's my tweet back in November, as we see, November the 30th, 2022, basically calling this out as I can see a clear, power of three pattern showing up. As we see here, clear signs of consolidation and accumulation, a manipulation move down after, an already very oversold move in price. This is something, we're very oversold here already on higher time frames. This was the kind of pattern I was anticipating for the end of the move, one kind of final capitulation event, which came in the form of FTX collapsing, okay? And, the worst of the news came on this candle here, funnily enough, and that's often how these things go. And that's what I want you guys to take away from this case study in particular is, changing your mindset on how you view the markets and how you view the world in general, to be fair, because, I'd say taking a contrarian view on most things is going to be beneficial most of the time. And this is especially the case in crypto. And if you're going to try and trade and invest in crypto, okay, it is, genuinely the very last or the closest. Yeah, the second closest point to forming the low was the day FTX collapsed, and people were calling for the end of crypto, and I was very strongly calling for this to be most likely the low for the cycle and definitely a spot to be buying a position for the longer term. And I actually sold off a decent chunk of this position at 28k, which I didn't get the high perfectly right. We did move into the lower 30ks, and we might even move higher still, but was a fantastic. From my average buy is around the 17k level. It did take us up, 65% on a fairly safe swing trade, okay? And as you can see, I called that out on Twitter and I was calling it out in the server. And, interestingly enough, if we come back over here, what I remember from the top of the bull market, okay, I believe it was a candle up here, very close to the top. This was when Coinbase was listed on the public markets, okay, so Coinbase IPO occurred, and people were talking about how crypto is now legitimate. They've got an exchange listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It's a very big deal. Everybody getting very, very bullish. Nobody here is calling for prices to move lower, just like very, very few people here are calling for prices to move higher at this point, because greed takes over at the highs and fear takes over at the lows. And we all know how this plays out from here. If we let this play for a while, all of a sudden everybody's getting fear of missing out and price moves up rapidly. And we do eventually move up towards the 30k level very, very quickly, okay? And this is, this principle also plays in with how you should approach your day trading. Any form of trading, okay, is often what the crowd is expecting to happen doesn't occur, and this works on lower time frames as well, and is why our smart money concepts work. And it's always to stay with your own convictions. Try and think with a slight contrarian view of things. Try and form your own thesis of why you want to take any given trade, and when you do take the trade, have conviction, okay, because as many times you can be shaken out. As you can see, this wasn't plain sailing. We did get a large move down, which was definitely difficult to trade at the time, but we held our spot positions and we sold at 28k, which is the the spot I originally wanted to sell.